Hello students, welcome back to our chemistry class. In last class, we have discussed how to write the chemical formula by using criss-cross method. So in this session, we will learn about the rules. Some rules are there to give a name for certain chemical compounds. So rules in naming certain chemical compounds. Okay, so how can give the name? Some rules are there, so we have to obey that rule while giving the name for certain chemical compounds. So first, if the certain chemical compounds containing metal and non-metal, if the chemical compounds containing metal and non-metal, how can you give a name? Okay, how can we give a name to these type of compounds? So rule 1. You should write the metal first and the non-metal you have to write second. That means it should be written, metal should be written as first and the non-metal should be written as second. And the non-metal will suffix by IDE. So metal written first and non-metal written second, then non-metal will suffix with by IDE. So we can see one example. Suppose the chemical compounds containing potassium and iodine. Suppose the chemical compounds containing potassium and iodine. We know potassium is a metal and iodine is a non-metal, right? So we have the rule. What is the rule? Metal written first and it should be written metal first and non-metal second. So first we have to write metal name and second we have to write non-metal name. Then non-metal will suffix with IDE. So we can see here metal is potassium and the non-metal is iodine. So what is the name of this compound? If the chemical compounds containing potassium and iodine, so how can you give the name? You can write potassium. Second name is what? Non-metal, that is iodine. Will suffix with IDE. So potassium iodide. Clear? So this is the name for chemical compounds containing potassium and iodine. So potassium is a metal, so we have to write first the potassium, and iodine is a non-metal, so we have to write second iodine. That one change here, what is that? We will suffix with IDE. So the name will be potassium iodide. We can see one more example. If the chemical compounds containing sodium and chlorine, sodium and chlorine. So here we know sodium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. So which one will write first? Metal will write first. So sodium we can write first. Sodium. Then chlorine is a non-metal. So you have to write second chlorine and will suffix with IDE. So what is the name? Sodium chloride. Right. Then what is the chemical formula of this one? We know symbol of sodium. Last class we have discussed. Sodium symbol is Na and chlorine symbol is Cl. Right. So naming how? Sodium chloride. We will not say sodium chlorine. We will say sodium chloride because chlorine is a non-metal. Non-metal will suffix with IDE. Clear all of you? Then potassium chloride. Suppose another compound we can take, chemical compounds containing potassium and chlorine. So what is the name? Potassium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. So we can write first potassium. Potassium and chlorine is a non-metal. So we can write second chlorine with IDE. Suffix with IDE. So potassium chloride. We know for chemical formula for potassium chloride, that is KCl. So we will not say potassium chloride, we will say potassium chloride, because this is a rule. If the chemical compounds containing metal and non-metal, metal should be written first and non-metal should be written second. Then non-metals will suffix with IDE. Clear all of you? Next rule. If the chemical compounds containing two non-metals, if the chemical compounds containing two non-metals, so how can we give the name to this type of compound? So here we'll give the name. How? Non-metals, we can write the elements name side by side. And one more thing, keep in your mind here, that is, then here we're going to denote number of atoms. So we will denote the number of atoms by using numerical prefix. Okay. Suppose number of atoms. If the compounds containing one atom, we will prefix by mono. If the compounds containing two atoms, we will prefix by di. If the compounds containing three atoms, we will prefix by tri. And if compounds containing four atoms, we will prefix by tetra. We can discuss with example, so we will understand more. For example, N2O. Both are non-metal. So we can write side by side the name. Okay. So nitrogen. So I am writing first nitrogen. So here rule is what? If the compounds containing two non-metals, we can write the name side by side. So nitrogen and here oxygen. Nitrogen and oxygen are the atoms. Then here nitrogen, how many atoms? Here two atoms of nitrogen. So we said we will use a numerical prefix to denote the number of atoms. So two nitrogens are there. So what is the prefix? If the two atoms are there, we will prefix by di. Right? So we can write the name. So what is the name? Di-nitrogen. Then how many atoms of oxygen? One. So what is the prefix? Mono. Right? So oxygen is one. So we can say mono. Then we know non-metals here will suffix with IDE. So we can call dinitrogen monoxide. Clear? Clear all of you? Here there are two non-metals. So if there are two non-metals, we will write the name side by side. Then we will indicate the number of atoms present in that certain compounds. Okay. So if the number of atom is 1, we will prefix by mono. If the number of atom is 2, we will prefix by di. If the number of atom is 3, we will prefix by tri. And if the number of atom is 4, we will prefix by tetra. Clear? So in this case, 2 atom of nitrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. So we can prefix the nitrogen with a di, because 2 atoms. So dinitrogen, oxygen is 1. So dinitrogen mono. Then oxygen case we know this is a non-metal. Then second elements only will suffix with IDE. So oxygen will suffix with IDE. Okay. So another one more example we can see. Suppose NO2. So here nitrogen and oxygen. Right. So if the elements, the first element is 1, suppose the first element is 1, it is not compulsory to mention with mono. If the first element is only 1, it is not compulsory to write with mono. Okay, so we can simply write nitrogen itself. So nitrogen. Then how many oxygen are there? 2 atom of oxygen. So we can write, if there is a 2 atom, we can denote by di. So what is the name? Nitrogen dioxide. Clear? Nitrogen dioxide. Next, N2O5. Another example. N2O5. How the naming? Both are non-metal. Here we can see 2 atom of nitrogen and 5 atom of oxygen. So what is the name of this one? Each the 5 atoms will prefix with pent. Clear? So what is the name of this compound? How many atom of nitrogen? 2. So if it is 2, we can write di. Why we didn't write here mono? Because first element, if it is only 1, no, it's not compulsory to write with mono. Okay. But here you can see two atoms of nitrogen. First elements contain two atoms. The first elements are two atoms, so we will write with di. So what is the name? Di-nitrogen. Then 5 atoms of oxygen. So what is the prefix? Pent. So pentaoxide. Pentaoxide. Clear? So this is how the naming is the chemical compounds containing two non-metals. Clear all of you? If the chemical compounds containing two non-metals, we can write like this. Next, if the chemical compounds contain two elements with oxygen, if the chemical compounds containing two elements with oxygen, how can you give the name? So the two elements will write side by side and the oxygen will write last. Okay, the two elements will write side by side and the oxygen will write last. For example, KClO3. So two elements we can write side by side. Then oxygen, how can you give the name for oxygen? So here we can see 3 atoms of oxygen, and one more example we can take KClO2. So where is the more oxygen atom? There we will suffix with ATE, or oxygen name will give ATE, and here you can see lesser number of oxygen will give the name ITE for oxygen atom. Okay, then can you see the name for this? What is the first element? Potassium. So we can write potassium. Then here is chlorine and oxygen. So we will say chlorate, because 3 atoms of oxygen. Where is more number of oxygen, we will suffix with AT, or we will give the name for oxygen is AT. So name will be potassium chlorate. Clear? If this compound, 2 atoms of oxygen, lesser number of oxygen, so we will give the name for oxygen is ITE. So what will be the name? Potassium chloride, ITE. So oxygen, actually there is no word of oxygen. So we will give the name for oxygen by ATE if the oxygen atom is 3. If the oxygen atom is 2, we will give the name for oxygen is ITE, right? So here you can see potassium chlorate, ATE, chlorate, potassium chlorate and potassium chloride. Clear? How when given the name? Because here more number of oxygen atom, here lesser number of oxygen atom. If there is more number of oxygen atom, we will suffix with ATE, or we will give the name for oxygen is ATE, and for O2 we will give the name ITE. Clear? Then one more example we have, that is KClO. In this case, we have one new word, that is hypo. So what is the name of this compound? That is potassium hypochlorite. Okay, potassium hypochlorite. So these are the rules for naming the certain chemical compounds. So we can move to next topic, that is compounds. Next topic is compounds. So what do you mean by compounds? Compound is a pure substance. It is a pure substance. So compound is pure substance which is formed by 2 or more different elements combined chemically in a fixed proportion by weight. That is known as compound. So what is compound? Compound is a pure substance which is formed by 2 or more elements, or 2 or more different elements combined. How it is combined? Chemically it is combined chemically by chemical bond. Combined chemically in fixed proportion by weight. Proportion by weight. This is known as compound. So compound, it is a pure substance. Compounds are pure substance which is formed by two or more different elements combined chemically in a fixed proportion by weight. This is known as compound. So we can see the examples, then you will understand more about compounds. For example, hydrogen element and oxygen. So when hydrogen element and oxygen element combine, we know what is the product. The product will be water, right? That means H2 plus O2 gives H2O. Then we know the law of conservation of mass, we need to balance this one. So we can balance by putting 2 in a hydrogen and in front of water molecule. So here you can see, we know compounds means what? 2 or more different elements combined to chemically in a fixed proportion by weight. That is known as compound. So here you can see, in 2 molecules of water, 2 represent the number of molecules. The 2 molecules of water contains 4 atoms of hydrogen and 2 atoms of oxygen. That is a definite proportion. That means 1 molecule of water molecules contain how many atoms of hydrogen? 1 molecule of water molecules, 1 molecules of water contains 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. That is a definite proportion. There is no change in the proportion, or there is no change in the weight of this hydrogen atom and oxygen atom. There is a definite proportion. So we can call they are compounds. Clear? 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen in 1 molecule of water. So that is a definite proportion. So this is a compound because 2 or more different elements combined chemically in a fixed proportion. So 1 molecule in anywhere 1 molecules of water means how many atoms are there? 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. So in 1 molecules of water contains how many atoms of hydrogen? 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. In anywhere, wherever you go, the 1 molecule contains 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. There is no change in the proportion. Clear? So the compounds containing 2 different elements, 2 or more different elements, and it has definite proportion by weight. Clear? Now we can see some characteristics of compounds. Okay. Some characteristics of compounds. Characteristics of compounds. First, the characteristics, the first which we discussed now. That is only. So the particles or the components present in a compound in fixed proportion. That means what? The particles or that elements present in a compound is in fixed proportion. Clear? The second characteristics of compounds. Compounds are homogeneous. So what do you mean by homogeneous? You might have learned in lower classes homogeneous and difference between homogeneous and heterogeneous. So what is the difference between homogeneous and heterogeneous? So homogeneous mixture means what? The mixture in the mixture, the particles are distributed equally or uniformly. That mixture we can call homogeneous mixture. And heterogeneous mixture means what? The particles are not distributed uniformly. That means non-uniformly distributed. The particles are non-uniformly distributed. That mixture we can call heterogeneous mixture. And the homogeneous mixture means what? The particles are uniformly distributed. Clear? So compounds are homogeneous compound. That means what? In compounds, the particles or the components are uniformly distributed. Clear? For example, we can discuss with the example. Suppose salt solution, NaCl solution. Salt. How can you prepare NaCl solution? We can take 1 cup of water or 1 beaker of water, and we will add some salt. Then we will mix well, right? So that is a salt solution. So NaCl we mixed in the water. After that, when we will taste this solution, every sip of this solution having the same taste. That means till the end of that solution having the salty taste. So everywhere they have same taste. That means what? NaCl is uniformly distributed there. Salt is uniformly distributed there. So because sodium chloride solution is a compound, so salt is uniformly distributed. So they are homogeneous. So compounds are homogeneous. Or another way we can explain, from wherever you will see, NaCl solution means what? There are number of molecules NaCl are present. Right, NaCl. So from wherever you will see, you can see one type of molecules, that is what? NaCl, because it is uniformly distributed. So we can say compounds are homogeneous. Clear all of you? Next, the properties of compounds are different from their elements. The properties are different, or we can say they have definite properties. They have definite properties. For example, you can take water. So water is a compound, right? H2O is a compound. So H2O have definite property and their elements have another property. For example, we know hydrogen are highly inflammable. They can easily catch the fire. But we know the water molecules. Water molecules contain hydrogen, but we know water we are using for extinguish the fire. So entirely different, right? Properties are entirely different from those elements, right? So elements have particular property and compounds have particular property. So compounds have their own property. Clear? Then we know oxygen are supporter for combustion, but we know water molecules we are using for extinguish the fire. Clear? Water we are using for extinguish the fire. So properties are different. So water have the particular property, then their elements have their own particular property. So that means what? They have definite property. Compounds have definite property. They will not show any properties of their elements. Clear? They will not show any properties of their elements. So compounds have definite set of properties. Then particles. Particles present in a compound are one kind. Next point is particles are present in a compound. Particles present in a compound one kind of particles present in a compound. One kind of particles present in a compound. One kind of particles present in a compound. We can take the salt solution, NaCl solution. You can see from wherever you will see there is only one type of particles. What is that? NaCl. From wherever you will see there is one type of particles, that is NaCl. Clear? So the particles present in the compound, there is only one type of particle or one kind of particles. Then components in a compound do not retain their properties. Components in a compound do not retain their properties. That means what? Just before we discuss, that means compound have definite set of properties, right? So from the compounds they will not retain their property. Elements will not retain their properties. Compounds have definite property and elements have different properties. Clear? They will not retain their property. Then that means we can't separate the compounds by physical means. We can separate that one by chemical method. So these are all about compounds. So in this section we discuss about rules for naming some certain chemical compounds, and we discuss about compounds. So all of you please rewind all the sessions and study well. Thank you.